and welcome to another exciting video. In this one, we'll be looking at how we can create custom events in a web component. So over here, you can see we have a pretty simple basic component which greets the user. So here we have this text welcome user and then a text box which is expecting some kind of name. And then we are clicking on change username to update this welcome message. So let's understand the code first, what exactly we're trying to do over here. As you can see, we have this greet component, and this is the template that we have. This template is being rendered in this page, and over here we are making use of this dot shadow root dot append child, and within that we are passing template dot content dot clone node. Now this is allowing us to get this component rendered, and finally over here these three lines we are kind of having variables defined, and we are targeting each of these input and different tags that we have. So the username, we are selecting this username ID, the span tag for input, and this is the text box with the username field, and for submit button we have this button ID. So these three are now assigned to these variables, and next what we are doing is we are targeting the submit button. The submit button will have a click event, and on clicking the button, what we are trying to do is whatever value was provided by the user in this text box, we are assigning that to this .username.innerText. Now, username is the span tag's ID, and over here, whatever text we are entering in the text box, we are then assigning it over here. So this is being done over here at line 22. Finally, we are allowing the emit external event so that developers can utilize this custom event and tap into it whenever it's happening. So whenever as a user I'm typing something in the input text box, as a developer I'll have this username changed event available, and I can tap into that event and do further changes if required. Now in order to make use of this, what exactly we are doing is it says this dot emit external event. You provide the name of the event and then the value that you're passing over here. So obviously the input that the user is entering is what is expected as part of this event. Now we are defining this emit external event. It's capturing these two things, event name and payload. Now this line is of importance. We are creating a custom event, and how we are doing that, we are creating an instance of the custom event class. We are passing the event name, and then the payload is passed as an object. So detail, and then we are providing the payload. Finally, we are saying this dot dispatch event. We are then passing this custom event as parameter to dispatch event. Finally, on these lines, we define our greet component. So here we are saying greet user, and then we are using document.createElement, and we are creating this component, my greet component. Finally, we are appending this to the body, and this line that we have is basically tapping into that event. So we are saying my greet component dot add event listener, and then the name of the event, and then the value that it's returning. So here you can see the detail was containing the payload, and that's what we are trying to retrieve over here, event dot detail. So now if I go ahead and provide a value over here like Adam and click on change username, when I do that, you will notice that the welcome message changes to welcome Adam, and you also notice that in the console log we have this value coming up, Adam. If you notice at line number 37, this is what we are tapping from the outside. So once the component is rendered and it's functioning as expected, we are also tapping into that username changed event and further logging the result in the console log.